Ain't nothing wrong with the non-blacks. Ain't nothing wrong with them. I had to explain to a fully grown woman that if you don't want no beef, you don't start no shit with people. Because you don't get to start shit with people and then tell them how to react. I had to explain that to her grown ass. And I did. Sticking up for a black man. That's what happened. When anti-Afro Svengali said you don't like black Americans, all I did was ask that bitch for proof. I didn't even say it was not true. I just said, where? When did he say anything like that? And she cussed me out like she do everybody that question her, that she not currently using.
Anti-Afro Svengalis. I played these two random clips from a live stream that Carrie Ann posted and deleted. May 2023 is when she made the statements. I'm illustrating the point about how non-sequential Carrie Ann is in these live streams. Now she has this contorted campaign that she never made racial epithets. She thinks by giving this bogus disclaimer, ain't nothing wrong with the non-blacks, she really thinks that statement mitigates what she goes on to say to vilify others based on their race. She really believes she gets a pass on that shit. So far gone, folks. So far gone. She's a freaking liar, and I'm proving my point. Well, I will prove my point in a second. And then her other big gig that's failing is that she doesn't talk about me, that she rarely brings me up. Well, as you see, the title, which is Non-Blacks, has no relationship to me, but she sure is mentioning me in this video. Just an example of how random, bizarre, and non-sequential Carrie Ann is. I'm going to be playing additional clips from this live stream. Just a heads up that I am going to be omitting some names, and I'm going to omit the most offensive racial attacks because I don't want that on my channel. That came out of Carrie Ann's mouth, and I can ship this live stream off to whoever wants it, and you're welcome to listen for yourself, which is exactly what the Georgia Department of Education will be doing. Carrie Ann is on a campaign to try to manipulate history. It will not work. If Carrie Ann really wanted the Georgia Department of Education or any potential employer to hear what she has to say, all she had to do was keep up the live streams. She deleted these live streams for a reason. I'm going to come back because I got additional information I want to share, some other perspectives based on part one, and here we are in part two. I'm going to be addressing what Carrie Ann calls as 2 lies, when in fact we know it's more like 200, and it wouldn't be a stretch if it was 2,000. But in the meantime, don't touch that dial after you hear buyer beware.
Because I went back through chat like, am I crazy or was these non-black calling me dirty? It's wild how, to me, none of the actual black people I had beef with except for Burton. We all know he be talking crazy to women. None of the black people I had beef with seem to think I'm dirty. But Scarlet, Stargate, and Binary Code, right? 3 non-blacks, they go-to insult for me is that I'm dirty and my hair is dirty. Like, what was dirty about me? Because how I'ma look dirty when I'm not dirty? How I'ma look like I stink when I don't stink? When my shirt is clean, my house is clean, my skin is clean, and my hair is clean. None of the black people in the sector has said I look dirty when my hair was nappy. Again, except for Burnt. And I don't even know if he said I look dirty. I think the word he used was unkempt. It's all these goddamn passes to the cookout we be giving out. So the 3 non-blacks I'm talking about here are Binary Code, who be hiding behind troll accounts, the predator that he is, Stargate, and Scarlet. The only 3 people who weren't on throwaway accounts that have called me dirty. There's nothing I could do to stop them, and Lord knows niggas will check somebody black for doing that shit or somebody white, but these exoticals, they get a pass. They get a pass to disrespect. Right. I don't consider them black. Especially not after all the racist tropes they all kicked about me. I hosted a show about non-blacks and black people's spaces, and it was 3 non-blacks calling me dirty and undesirable. And everybody know I look good. Everybody know I look clean. So yeah, it's just, I think it's important to call shit out, you know? People could keep exposing themselves, right? For the white supremacist attitudes they have, right? And these same, Scarlett been trying so hard to keep alive this narrative that I hate black men, right? But nobody could tell me what is it I said that say I hate black men. Right? Y'all done seen what I look like now. Like I explained, I don't be liking going around certain groups of black men because they be sexually harassing me. That don't mean I hate black men. That's a reality. And sometimes niggas don't want to hear nothing negative about themselves unless you about to blame it on the white man. But why is some non-blacks getting in between me and how I feel towards other black men and how they feel towards me? That conversation really shouldn't be involving them. If non-blacks should be allowed in black spaces, they really shouldn't be piping up when black people are talking about ills in their community. Now, I quickly and easily got D-Darrell to turn on Stargate. And he asked if I wanted to get her wrench took. And I told him nah. Cause I knew I wasn't gonna be fucking with Darrell that long. I just wanted his help with the photon situation. And he was useful for that, so I thank him for that. You know? It was some throwaway accounts agreeing with them. And like I said before, it's interesting that the throwaway accounts always seem to be so cool with Scarlett. She a ghost that get along with ghost. I guess birds of a feather flock together. And I saw them doing, you know how these non-black do after they get checked by a black woman for disrespecting our skin or our hair or the shape of our nose. You know how they just a little bit too much of that little superiority complex be coming out.
Okay, before I say anything, I want you to hear exactly what Dumpsey D-Darrell said about Carrie Ann.
This looks like a motherfucker that don't care about how she looks. I'm sorry, y'all. Carrie Ann look like she stinks. This bitch like she don't take baths. She look like she take a bath maybe 2 times a week. This look like she don't wash her ass. She don't wash her cat. This mother don't wash under her arm. She don't brush her teeth. This mother look funky as fuck. This bitch look like one of them natural mother from the 70s that don't believe in hygiene. This mother look like she smell like she just look foul as fuck.
She knows exactly what Dumpsey D-Darrell said. She doesn't seem to, quote, recall anything that he said. He ran 3 live streams calling her dirty. That's who popped everything off about the dirty. Based on what she was saying. He said it. But of course, she wants to lay blame on Stargate, Scarlett, breaking the culture. She started blaming breaking the culture before she got here. And when I say started blaming her, present day, when she refers to what happened in the past, she throws breaking the culture of silence in there during times when she wasn't even here. Another relevant, necessary correction. I shouldn't say correction. She knows that she's lying, people. Here's a necessary, relevant correction, which I can't call it a lie because she wasn't even here when it happened. Dumpsey was furious when Stargate decided to go and check out Smoke's channel just to go check it out. Obviously, when Stargate went there, she was hooked. It was the camaraderie over there. They had the ladies' night. I mean, it got going pretty fast. Dumpsey completely and totally lost it. And I would say he launched perhaps the most vicious attack, male to female, in these YouTube streets. He unleashed it on Stargate. So they had already had that situation going on, and Stargate was never going to go back there. When I say go back there, she was never going to go back there the way she was. That was over. Dumpsey ended up apologizing to Stargate because it was so bad. Then later on, he relapsed because he got pissed about some other things. It was never going to be the same. He was angry because she went over to the Smokes channel. This is Smokes' first channel. So let me tell you the main reason I'm coming on here to talk to you all. I'm coming on here just to let you know the deal with Carrie Ann. There have been some things that have come out of her mouth lately that some people are saying they were shocked about. I want to reassure you, there is nothing to be shocked about. Do not be shocked about someone else's life that doesn't apply to you. And what I mean by that, Carrie Ann has tried so many things to try to catapult herself up into a position that I feel is non-existent. Be who you are, where you are. Nope, you can't say that to Carrie Ann. She thinks there's some sort of mountain to climb and some position to attain. So she will do anything to reach the unattainable. She'll go to any heights to get to something that's not there. It starts with yourself. So she keeps trying to find a way to force people to accentuate her, to tell her how great she is. She's basing it on what other people think. This is what you get when you hear what some people consider to be bizarre, but it's not, people. It's her reality. She's just simply substituting people in. Now, when she does this little tweaking, she's just tweaking it to meet what her experiences have been. So it won't mean anything to you. Don't try to force it into your existence because that's not where it belongs. It belongs with Carrie Ann. Don't ever forget this very important point. There is no investment in a lie. There really isn't. Because the lie so often is knee-jerk, is spur of the moment, and you can't even recall what you said. This comes in different degrees, but this is an extreme degree when it comes to Carrie Ann. She will tell a lie thinking she's protecting herself and her family. There's no real investment in that lie. The investment is in how the reality of the circumstances in actuality impacted her. If the reality of a situation has impacted you and you have no resolution, not even partial resolution, you don't want to deal with the situation, you avoid really expressing how you feel about what happened to you. And it doesn't matter in what arena that is. That could be going to therapy. Everyone that goes to therapy is not ready to really address certain issues, and you're not supposed to force people to do anything. A person has to be ready. You can't force anything. I mean, there's all different types of techniques you can to kind of, steer the person in a direction where they don't know what you're doing. But even that, you got to just really respect where the person wants to go. There are those who would never cooperate. When I say cooperate, for the benefit of self. It's much easier to come to YouTube and social media and impose your suffering on others. It's just a matter of trying to find somebody who will accept it. YouTube is the world. So you're going to find somebody to take that on. And this is what Carrie Ann's looking for. She's looking for someone to take on the reality of her existence. She's just simply substituting people in. The outrageous claims that she makes, they're not outrageous. They're perfectly fit into this nice, neat box that's Carrie Ann's. She just wants to come out of that box and put somebody else in there. But when she's trying to put somebody else in the box, she has a circle that she's trying to fit into a square shape that's smaller than the round ball. It's not going to work. So she keeps tweaking. She keeps adding facts. The facts that she's adding would represent her reality. It sounds really off the wall to you because it is. Your life is your life. Your life is not Carrie Ann's life. But damn it, she's determined to make it so. So one thing with Carrie Ann you got to keep in mind, this is what the Owl Show said, that threw Carrie Ann essentially over the cliff. Ignore her. When Carrie Ann heard that, Oh my goodness gracious. You know how many live streams she has run on the Al Show, attacking him from head to toe, from A to Z, sexually harassing him, threatening him with violence? She literally threatened the Al Show with violence after the Al Show recommended that black men simply ignore Carrie Ann. That's who she was attacking at the time. Remember, she was substituting black men into a situation that was her reality, her situation, her family experience. How the hell is she going to come on here and apply this shit to black men? They don't even know her. They don't know who she is. But she knows who you are because she's determined to fit you in. Where daddy was, where brother was, where uncle was. You're going to serve in their role. And that's when she thinks she has you on the beat down. She wants you to get shocked. She wants you to get surprised. She wants you to get outraged. What she doesn't ever expect is you to disregard what she is saying. And that's when she went for the Al Show. She lost it, was screaming at the top of her lungs. I'm going to find that. She did this on a panel when she completely lost it. I think it might have been maybe Propane's panel or someone else's panel. And then she did several live streams on it. How dare you tell people not to talk to me? She lost it. Now here we got this fear of rejection. What does that have to do with the Al Show or any black men in these YouTube streets? Nothing. You don't even know her. How can someone have a reaction to rejection of someone you don't even know? This has got to be the most profound example of something that has impacted your life. You don't even have partial resolution. You've heard the stories where a woman is in a store and a dude comes up to her, and I'm saying this because this is how it turned out, trying to talk to her. 99.9% are just going to say, okay, all right, okay, she didn't want to talk to me. But those who have a certain experience with rejection and abandonment, they get deadly. It can't be about the person in front of you, but it can be everything about what you experienced in life. So this is the key to Carrie Ann, trying to force people to substitute, to stand in for what she didn't get, for the people she's angry at. Go back to those who pissed you off and deal with that. No, it's much easier to do it to people on YouTube, to strangers, to try to make them feel they've actually done something to you when they haven't. She tries so hard to lay guilt trips on people. Al Show said ignore her, and she lost it. Someone says ignore you, and you think violence, attacking the person, physically assaulting them is the appropriate reaction? That's the reaction she had to the Al Show. She threatened to have somebody bust his knees up. How can it be about the Al Show? She doesn't know the Al Show. So she's saying more and more about the Al Show, making things up, but it's not made up. It's her experience that she so desperately wants you to feel the worst experience she's ever had in life. And that is something that she experienced. You didn't have her experience, she did. But she wants you to feel it by imposing it on you. So when I talk about, you see these lies up here, they're subject related. The topic that's mentioned, she lied about. That's how this is written up. Whatever the subject matter is, she lied. So for her to come on here and say she only told 2 lies, 200, possibly 200 to 2,000 lies she's told. I just haven't sat there and listened to her. But essentially everything coming out of that mouth is a lie. So the more horrendous, the more abusive, the more horrific, the more subjugating, the more slanderous, the more libelous she can get, she's looking for a result. She's looking for you to repeat exactly what she said. And I'm saying this going all the way down to these bizarre incest fantasies that she's putting out on these YouTube streets. See, I'm not going to reference the people she's talking about. Like I mentioned the Al, because the Al Show had said this to her, as have others, but she was exceptionally violent in her responses to the Al Show and what she said. And then from there, she continues to sexually harass him and pursue him and demanded he answer these personal questions, he injured her. This is Carrie Ann's view. The Al Show injured her. No, it wasn't the Al Show. It was somebody else. He's just making sense when he says the brother should ignore you. She was completely and totally off the rails. She's different now because she changed her language because she got fired. She needs to get another job. So she can't use the language that she's using in these other live streams that I'm beeping out. I'm not going to play that on my channel. I'm not playing that shit. This is some vulgar, vicious shit that Carrie Ann is trying to force others to accept, but it belongs to Carrie Ann. Carrie Ann can say whatever she wants. She makes up these lies and really wants you to follow behind her, chase her down, and explain to her a lie she made up based on her own life. That's not going to happen with me. I don't give a shit what Carrie Ann Wilson thinks. Someone who got fired from school, who was walked immediately off that campus, who made it onto the news. And here she is trying so hard to try to make it appear that everybody else has a problem. I wasn't the one held out of any job ever in life based on psychiatric issues, psychiatric instability, and I work with psychiatrists all day, every day, judges and lawyers, and nobody ever told me, oh my God, we need to get her out on psychiatric. Right. Carrie Ann is the one whose coping skills were problematic in that school environment. I am quite sure it involved not bathing. Someone had put a message, what are you talking about? She's dirty. She works with kids. When people don't have their issues properly or appropriately managed or contained, they cannot help but express what is really going on. And the coping mechanisms are getting them over, but are not acceptable. Like if, for example, she wakes up, I'm not going to take no bath today. Okay, you want to take a bath, but if you're funky at work, you're not just affecting yourself, you're affecting other people. Okay, I'm going to cuss you out because you pissed me off, rather than having a civil discussion. Okay, that may have alleviated stress for her cussing somebody out, but not for the person on the receiving end. Again, she's trying to force you in a position so she can stay escalated. She's most comfortable in an escalated position. Don't follow her around. I'm reemphasizing the Al Show's advice. I mean, basically, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, do what the hell you want. But I sure as hell not going to follow Carrie Ann around. I'm going to deal with Carrie Ann offline. If I just happen to mention something about her, which I have, some of the things she says, I remind people of things, but a battle, but a fight, but an argument, it will never happen. Absolutely will not happen. I don't owe Carrie Ann any explanations about anything or no clarification or revisiting, because she tries the same thing with me, coming up with these bizarre scenarios. Again, they appear to be bizarre, but they're not. If you have to lie about your family, there is something that you're deeply troubled about. You're very much worried about people finding out about it. And she's already slipped up. I guarantee you, if I ever took on the task or put someone else up to the task to find out about Carrie Ann's family, trust and believe, panic is going to set in. But do we give a shit about that at this point in time? No. Who knows? You might change your mind tomorrow. We have other goals when it comes to Carrie Ann, and it doesn't involve tracking down her family. So Carrie Ann can say whatever she wants. We recognize, those of us over here recognize what she's doing, trying to force other people to stand in for her family dysfunction. Her family dysfunction is Carrie Ann, and Carrie Ann's only. None of us are adopting it, but we're also not going to allow her to harass and abuse us to the point where her conduct is actionable. That's something that she has done. She knows she is wrong, which is why she's deleted those videos. Trust and believe that one, folks. Again, the very strong recommendation, don't display alarm and shock about these so-called bizarre statements that she makes. She's simply expressing frustration with what's happened to her. It has been improperly channeled. There is an investment in denying the lie, but there's no investment in promoting the lie because she doesn't even remember what it is most of the time. That's immediate gratification. The goal is to get you to repeat what she's saying so you can absorb it and integrate it and adopt it as your reality, or take on the position of defending yourself against something that doesn't even exist for you. That's simply not going to happen. Now, if it's crossing the line, there are other remedies. But her flying off the handle with these things that she's saying about people's families that in all likelihood apply to her, you're wasting your time. That goes right down to the sibling situation about incest.
She knows. Mom, you know. You walked in on me and Kyle 2 years ago.
I won't listen to this. I will not have these things said in my house. But what? You were going to tell me, but you didn't?
Look, Mom, we're not getting married, that's all. I think it's better we leave it at that.
No, I don't think so. The invitations have already gone out. People know. I want an explanation.
Mom.
You better start
Mom.
explaining yourself, young
Mom.
man. You owe me an explanation.
Mom, you know, Mom. You already know. You know exactly why. You want me to say it?
Now lower your voice.
No! You want me to say it? You want me to say it, Mom? I didn't swerve to avoid hitting a dog. I swerved to avoid living this life. So I thought it'd be better to be dead.
All right.
I'm gonna tell you that. No, you haven't, Mom! No, you haven't. I tried to kill myself.
No, you didn't. You had an accident.
No! 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 I thought it'd be better to be dead.
No.
Mom! I thought it'd be better to be dead than
No, honey.
Yes! Than to tell you I was gay! I drove the car off the road on purpose. I did it on purpose, Mom. On purpose. Yes, on purpose. I did it on purpose.
No.
She knows. Mom, you know. You walked in on me and Kyle 2 years ago.
I believe she probably did walk in on somebody. I believe she probably knows about two brothers kissing. But it's not anybody in these YouTube streets. I don't believe for 5 seconds anybody would be dumb enough to even lie about it, something like that, or make up something. That is her experience, people. Based on the way she acts, nothing would surprise me. Now you know I got more coming your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.